Hello there, everybody. Sabanai 2 AK Nightmare, and welcome back to Rose Guns Day's last season. First off, the actual chapter would have ended in 5 more minutes. But I'm pretty sure people can understand why I suddenly stopped when I did. As last episode, I fell for the good old trick that Ryukishi is really good at. Granting us a little bit of hope, a little bit of happiness, and then yanking the rug from underneath us. As I witnessed one of the most callous, heartless forms of evil I think I ever would have expected. Yuji recovering in the hospital. Felt a little bit of happiness, and there was that little part in the back of my head that was telling me, okay, how the hell is this going to get ruined? And it all started with pudding. Poisoned pudding that I can only assume took the life of an innocent 2-year-old boy. And who do we have to blame? Arguably one of the most heinously depraved but very well-written characters I've seen so far. The fallen angel, Gabriel, who, as I named aptly at the beginning of the previous episode, Samael. Because the poison of God would be a very fitting title for this individual. Alright. Something tells me that Yuji did not make it. So, while this knife is currently embedded in my chest, let us see what happens. Our information department confirms that these letters are genuine, and that they were written by Lee Meiju himself.
Also, could you show him that?
Yes, sir. Mr. Sayamura, take this, please. The man from the information department opened a different file. In it, a picture of a gruesome, difficult-to-look-at corpse was bound to something like a medical chart.
Oh, it looks identical, doesn't it?
It contained an autopsy picture of a man who had died, spurting blood, with all of his blood vessels raised and black. That method of dying... There could be no doubt that it was the same gruesome way Yuji had died. I was expecting that he wouldn't have been able to make it, but even just reading those 3 words is still really hard to sit through. It's actually choking me up a little bit here. According to what was written, it was a terrifying poison going around the Chinatown underworld. Its most important characteristics were that it brought certain death and hellish pain. You guys, I realize you're going to be contained by grief, but you have to notice how almost perfect this seems. That latter quality is what led people to choose this particular poison. In other words, it suggested the existence of someone filled with a pure black hate that went beyond mere killing intent. There was a list of families thought to possess that poison, which included the GDS. That's no good. After this, even I can't take it anymore. Who would take a poison that kills you so gruesomely and give it to a young child who just returned from the brink of death? How can a fiend like that ever be forgiven? Huh?
I read those documents too. I hear it's a terrifying poison. My chest tightens just thinking about young Yuji dying in such pain. Ignore my smile. Don't worry, I am truly just grieving.
Gabriel's words, which seemed sympathetic, gouged themselves into Keith's chest from the most merciless angle. Keith, with an expression as pained as though someone had stuck a knife in his chest, screamed.
Lee Meiju. How could you do this to Yuji-kun, you demon?
Keith, a man who seemed so easygoing, who never showed any extreme emotion, wore an expression twisted like a demon's. His expression brought terror even to Cyrus. Chapter 4. Farewell to La Vienne Rose. I don't care. That still hurts. That hurts way too fucking much. That hurts way too much. Once again, Richard was in the hospital's underground morgue. The first time he had come with Stella, who had been shot through the skull. This time he was with Yuji, who had burned from the inside, his lungs drowning in his own blood and vomit, dying in agony. Richard, who had lost his last blood relative, who had survived the great disaster. And he had watched as this last relative suffered, spattering blood onto his face. There was a light knock on the door. The only ones allowed in were people bringing messages from Keith, who had gone with Cyrus to the occupying forces HQ.
Ames! There was a call from Keith-kun at the occupying forces HQ.
James approached him and whispered something short into his ear. It was probably a message that the analysis results had turned up positive. That was what Richard had predicted. So he only gave a small nod in response. Then, James whispered into his ear once more. This time the message was a little longer. It was about a poison which caused the same symptoms as what Yuji had suffered, and also that the GDS was one of the organizations in possession of it.
I see. Thank you. Tell those two to hurry back. Must consider our next move. We cannot simply cry and give up.
Yes.
James had thought Richard would be more visibly upset. He'd pictured him flying into a rage or howling while chewing apart his lower lip. However, Richard was unexpectedly quiet. And yet, James felt it was much more eerie this way.
I'll be waiting outside.
No. I'll be there soon. Please ready your car.
Are you sure? Don't you want to say your farewells a little longer? I'll be outside, waiting.
Yuji. See. So that's how it was after all. Yuji. Appa was wrong. Trying to protect the future for our countrymen. Our countrymen of the future. It's wrong after all. Thank you, Yuji. You taught me that. At the cost of your life. Our methods were mistaken. Rose's methods were mistaken.
Rose had likened Primavera to an eggshell to protect the weak Japanese people as they grew. She said it would protect them until the day they gained the strength to diligently apply themselves and coexist with foreigners. Rose's end goal was coexistence between the Japanese and foreigners. And thanks to Gabriel's evil, that unshakable faith that Richard had was just shattered. No, it wasn't so much shattered, it was rotted and broken down, piece by piece. Seeing Japan, which was no longer the sole domain of the Japanese after the loss in the war, she thought that was the right future to shoot for. However, didn't Primavera exist for the purpose of protecting her Japanese countrymen? Was it really enough for them to be just a shell to protect the Japanese until they grew? Furthermore, it wasn't as though this shell was impenetrable. They had been attacked in the form of the soy sauce war, and they had lost Stella, even Yuji. The eggshell wasn't even functioning as a shell. Does there exist anything as weak as an egg? When looking at the natural world, nothing comes close to an egg when it comes to powerlessness and being used by other animals as a source of nutrients. That's why eggs need parents to protect them. That's right. It isn't a shell that will protect our weak countrymen. They need parents. When he realized this, Richard felt his respect for Rose wane for the first time. And he clearly thought of Rose as immature. He wasn't trying to belittle her. It was simply a matter of life experience. Rose was certainly a person of character, proclaiming wonderful ideals. However, she had never given birth to a child, nor raised one. Rose had never become a parent. That was why she spoke of a shell to protect her countrymen. Shells can only protect. They can't hurt anyone. They can't even hurt enemies.
I see. It's the thinking of a woman who wants to be loved by everyone. But for a parent protecting a child, cheap talk isn't enough. For their child's sake, they had to be willing to make an enemy out of anyone. And they needed to be cunning enough to bow their heads, even to an enemy from yesterday.
Rose probably felt that she was prepared to dirty her hands in that way. However, all parents of the children are prepared to do far more than that. Rose was naive. She believed peace meant not hurting anyone. That was why she could speak such nonsense about shells.
That's wrong. Peace is established by getting your hands dirty and getting hurt while repelling foreign enemies. You achieve peace by removing foreign enemies, either by defeating them or by making them fear enough that they can't attack you. To reach that state, you need to dirty your hands in the truest sense, and fight in a very literal sense. Rose was naive. Rose was wrong. It was only natural. She had never become anyone's parent. So I can tell. This is a philosophical state I have reached. After having a child, raising him, and losing him. And strangely enough, the answer was the one Rose hated most. The most violent and simple ideology.
The one thing that I thought would never be broken. To see it just destroyed. Whoa! Uh-oh. I really don't like this.
Protecting our countrymen does not mean protecting the people behind our backs as though we were a shell. We protect them by defeating the enemies pointing knives at our countrymen before they attack.
Once again, strangely enough, that had been Father Caleb's theory. Protecting people does not mean standing tall with them at your backs. It means defeating enemies that would harm them with your own hands.
Madame Rose thought we could coexist with Chinatown. However, that was an illusion. Chinatown, which continues to encroach into our city and expand, is not something that can be coexisted with. If we stand around, we'll be whittled away and destroyed.
I don't like this. I really don't.
Just as they chase us out of their cities, we must chase them out of our cities. Starting right here, right now, I announce the creation of a new Primavera family. Primavera will remain as an organization to protect her countrymen. However, the way we protect will be to dirty our hands in the truest sense. To fight, literally, to cut away through the thorny path. Our methods will be completely different from those used in the past. We aren't an eggshell anymore. We have already broken out and scattered. Today, we have been born from the egg to spread our wings and receive new life. The society of mutual support between countrymen that Madame Rose hoped for the purpose of making that ideal a reality. I, Richard Maogi, announce the birth of a new Primavera.
Oh, dear Lord. How do you think Caleb would react to what you're doing right now? You beat him into accepting the new ideals that you wanted to do. And now you turn your back on that? If Caleb were here, part of me thinks that he would call you a hypocrite. But I understand the situation, at least. Richard has been effectively broken because of one sadistic monster. On that day, Richard made this announcement in front of the emergency summoned board of the highest execs and all of the crew bosses. In practical terms, he was announcing that Madame Rose would be a symbolic leader, and he, Richard Maogi, would take actual power. And he made clear their change in focus from an eggshell to wings spread to threaten our enemies. Richard's assumption of actual power and changing the organization's forces were welcomed with applause by the powerful execs, such as James and Maurice. Even Cyrus approved of it all, thinking there was no helping it now that it had gone to this point. At this time, Wayne, the highest exec in the Pro Rose camp, was away from Tokyo serving as her guard. So we only learned by phone that Richard had announced an emergency situation following Yuji's poisoning and the determination that the GDS was the culprit. Since it was clear that Rose couldn't take the lead on this matter, it was only natural that Richard represent her. Wayne didn't show any particular interest, and he was even happy that Rose had been free from the troubles at State 23 for a while. As far as he knew, Richard was only acting as Rose's temporary representative in response to this crisis. However, by Meryl's prediction, this wouldn't be temporary. Stella was dead and Rose was out of the picture. Even Meryl was busy keeping the ladies of the evening together, so she couldn't get any more involved. In other words, all women had been completely removed from Primavera, an organization originally created for the ladies of the evening. Men and women only get along well because they're aware of each other. If one gender becomes too prominent, it becomes easier for the organization to experience drastic changes. That was Meryl's theory. That was why, in the past, a woman-only organization like Primavera welcomed the addition of Richard. Meryl was completely certain that Primavera would be reborn as something totally different, starting on this day. And she realized that it might go in a different direction than the one Rose wanted. However, earlier on, she had made an oath with Wayne to start living wisely. And for that reason, at least on the outside, she also applauded Richard's speech. I don't like this music. I don't like this. It doesn't sound right. Chapter 5. Pain of Heart Will Go On. After that, Richard called Cyrus, Keith, and Maurice to his office. In other words, these were now the most important execs in the reborn Primavera. When the door was closed, the noise of the other execs was cut off and silence fell again. Hey, Maurice. Have a seat.
Yes, boss. So you called me in first. Well, I'd guessed as much.
Consigliere, we're all here.
Yuji's funeral is set to take place the day after tomorrow, alongside Stella's public funeral.
The preparations have all been made. Please leave everything to us and rest. That's not what Stella and Yuji-kun would want. We've got to inherit and carry the burdens they bore. True. We don't have time to rest. That's right. We aren't allowed to rest. We've got to fight right now for the sake of our countrymen.
Are we gonna do it, Consigliere?
Apparently, Maurice's instincts have been keener. Richard had probably already told Keith, his aide, and the glint in their eyes made it clear what they wanted to talk about.
Normally, I'd like to ask you to calm down a bit first. However, I'm sorry, but this one's got even me mad as hell. You can't do that to kids. It can't be tolerated. Stella, Yuji, Rose, they keep going after women and children. They're absolute brutes. The other execs are livid too. Today you could mobilize them however you wanted. If we're gonna do it, we've gotta go all out. Mobilize them so we know we'll win even before we start. It's a funeral war, and there ought to be all sorts of people who want to crush the GDS. There's the Satomi Alliance, the Castiglione family. We should be able to gather lots of troops.
That'll take too long.
Makes sense. If we take too long mobilizing forces, they'll catch wind of it and move first. So are you saying we should just let them have it all on our own? Give me 2 days and I can gather a minimum quota of troops. Perfect. Stella and Yuji's funeral's in 2 days. You plan to offer up incense and then head straight down to the fight?
It's the other way around, boss. We aren't going to fight after offering incense. We gotta bring Lee Maju's head to lay on the altar.
Are you insane?
Oh, I'm sane. I don't even need 2 days to ready my gun and pull the trigger.
Jesus. Richard, I want to hear it from your lips.
Lee Meiju and Sun Chi Long. We will make them pay. Pay with their lives.
Oh, God.
There can be no doubt that Yuji's death was caused by the poison of our countrymen. It's a poison with very distinctive symptoms. Richard and the others are most likely aware of this. There can be no doubt. It must be someone of the elder faction we chased out. It was my belief that nearly all of them had perished. However, I may have been slightly too merciful. But from the Japanese perspective, both we and those of the elder faction are still members of the GDS, and Chinese. All we can hope to do is clean up our own mess by our own responsibility to show our sincerity. There is just one bit of good news. I have managed to make contact with Richard. Regardless of the contents of that conversation, simply having made contact is good news. So what did Richard say?
The recent incident was surely a strategy set up by someone to have Primavera and the GDS eliminate each other. I will pretend to believe that. I'll act as though we've been successfully deceived by their scheme.
Richard has regained much of his cool-headedness.
Oh, God, no. Oh, no.
Perhaps the death of young Yuji surpassed the level of shock, and actually helped him to think more clearly. He showed his understanding of my claims, realizing that this must be a scheme of someone hoping to topple us both.
I would like to use those 2 deaths as an opportunity to reconfirm our mutual friendship and discuss the future. By saying this, they will be unable to refuse the invitation.
Let us humbly accept. Let us show our heartfelt condolences for their 2 losses and share in their pain. It is impressive that they've managed to regain their composure amidst all this misfortune, when one might expect them to be bound by hatred. Richard Maogi, you truly are an enlightened ruler.
They seemed quite relieved to hear that I didn't suspect the GDS. I would like to display our unchanging friendship with the GDS at the combined funeral the day after tomorrow, so I wish to meet with you tomorrow. I realize that you must be busy, but would you be willing to come by along with Sun Chi Long? When I made that offer, they agreed immediately.
Tomorrow, is it? It may be sudden, but we cannot refuse. Yes, and it will be our first top-level meeting with the new Primavera. Cancel all of my appointments tomorrow. There is nothing more important than re-establishing our friendship with them.
So, you were able to lure out both Meiju and the young lord?
That's incredible.
And your plan to have Keith finish them both off?
As long as I can get them both within my line of fire, I'll definitely finish them off. So it all depends on location.
That isn't a problem. Keith and I have already decided together.
The location of our talk is not to be Club Primavera? Correct. Since both sides are equal in our relationship, they said they wanted to meet at a neutral location. That's quite considerate of them. I salute them. Oh my god! This is the spot. It's a small Chinese restaurant, halfway between Chinatown and Club Primavera. It's a dining hall aimed at various members of the general public. The shopkeeper and the hostess are an international Japanese-Chinese marriage.
I see. Sounds like a good omen for Sino-Japanese relations.
Not bad. If a sniper set up camp in this area, the street in front of the restaurant would be completely within this line of fire.
It was a perfect place for an ambush by a sniper like Keith. Sun Shilong would probably show up in a bulletproof limo and wouldn't get out until he was right in front of the restaurant. However, if Keith set up camp on a roof with the view of that street, his target would be perfectly in line with Keith's scope the moment he got out of the car. But we got two targets. Will it really work out?
We'll make it work, so I'm not worried at all.
I will go out onto the street first, welcome them, and offer to shake hands.
Clever! If Richard's there to welcome them, they'll be forced to get out of the car and stop.
There's no way the young lord will leave the cow and Meiju still inside all by himself. The distance is 300 meters. I'll definitely finish off both Meiju and Shilong.
Still, it's not like I'm suddenly chickening out, but will it really work? Will that fancy major really wipe our asses for us? No!
I just got off a phone call with the major. He said he'd use his authority to handle everything.
He's like us. We can trust him. Oh my god!
Oh god, man.
We can trust him.
Even if the sniping works, will the GDS really just give up their own two heads taken out?
As to that, we've already gone through the major to obtain promises of assistance from the former elders who were chased out of the GDS. They will recapture the GDS as soon as Shilong and Meiju fall.
Even the other GDS execs don't know about Shilong and Meiju's secret conversations. In other words, their underlings think that incident really was caused by a third party.
So, to fool your enemies, you gotta start by fooling your friends, is it?
We will take advantage of that. A third party targeted us during our talks. If we push a story like that, the GDS won't come looking to us for blame.
That's an interesting picture you've drawn up. But how are you gonna make it look like some third party did the snapping? If only the young lord and Meiju got neatly taken out, I doubt they'll believe it.
That's the important part. The story won't work unless Richardson is attacked. So, we need the plot to include an attack against the car Richardson is in.
A car containing a body double, which we repaired out of caution, will be attacked on the way to the restaurant. According to the plot, I will have entered the restaurant long before the meeting, thus escaping the danger.
I see. But will that really work out? Last time, those guys started a massive gunfight that dragged in tons of people, just to make it look as though Meiju's little sister got attacked. I doubt you'll be able to make it mimic them by ordinary means.
In that case, we merely have to do the same as they did.
Whoa, no, you can't involve civilians, dude! Wait, you mean...
My double and his guards will be attacked. And that attack will be on the same scale as the one made against Stella and the others.
What?
Dude, what the fuck?
They used the word double, but that didn't mean grass growing on the side of the road. Someone would have to fill that role. And since he was supposed to be a top member of his organization, he would need a considerable number of guards. Those people would need to be hit by an attack on the same scale as the last one. And a considerable number would have to die.
What are you planning? To sacrifice members of Primavera?
I doubt we'll ever fool them unless we do. And if they suspect us, then it'll turn to a massive feud involving the GDS and Bashi and Ryan.
If that happens, a lot more people are gonna die, huh? Human sacrifices, is it?
Having the courage to fight means being unafraid to make sacrifices.
This is not what Stella wants!
Correct. And those who offer their lives to Primavera have sworn that they are prepared to die for their countrymen, correct?
To think such terrifying words would ever come from Richard's mouth. Because Cyrus had known him since they were kids, he couldn't help but bite his lower lip, stunned speechless.
You probably think me heartless. However, this is all to protect our countrymen. Fighting means to be unafraid of sacrifices. If everyone avoids self-sacrifice and fears fighting, then nothing will remain. All will be destroyed.
Yeah, you're right.
Even I am fully aware of the inhumanity of this plan. However, they were the ones who first took such inhumane measures. We must defeat them now. They will probably continue to attack our countrymen through inhumane means.
That single incident left over 100 people dead or wounded. All their families are facing a sadness no lesser or greater than the sadness of losing Stella and Yuji-kun.
Will you be able to say the same thing to the body double and the guards who are gonna become human sacrifices? That's different, Cyrus. Though we gather under Primavera, we all swear to continue fighting to protect our countrymen. It's a soldier's job to give up his life to protect the women and children back home.
I care not if you denounce me as inhuman. After all, I'm already prepared to battle the great evil that threatens my countrymen, even if it means getting wounded.
Well, I can understand why you aren't convinced. Our grand boss is a soft-hearted man, after all.
Don't take me lightly, boy.
Cyrus let out a deep sigh and stood by the window, his back to them. He generally leaned towards the sympathetic approach. However, he also understood the cold-bloodedness of war.
I'll leave it to Maurice to select a team. Yes, boss. However, avoid selecting people with families, if it's at all possible. Leave it to me. Lightening that psychological burden for you is also part of my job.
To this former major who had been feared like a reaper on the battlefield, even Cyrus apparently looked naive. Maurice, understanding the reason he had been summoned here, rose to his feet.
Maurice, as Cyrus said, be considerate when selecting a team. When their job is done, see to it that they are rewarded graciously, regardless of whether they live or die.
Yes, boss. Please leave the rest to me.
Thank you. I knew I could rely on you.
Then I'll be on my way. It starts tomorrow. There's no time. God damn it all! Ever since the Caleb era, we've always taken time to carefully prepare for big plans, and it's brought us success. As a man with all that experience, I say that your strategy for tomorrow feels too rushed.
Since the time of Stella's death, Major Calderaya must have predicted that I would take revenge sooner or later. So, ever since that time, he has been making preparations for it.
You know, I'm not sure I like that. If someone started cooking for me before I even made my order, even I would hesitate to stick my chopsticks into it.
It's just good fortune for both of us. The Major wants to use us to indirectly take revenge. And we couldn't have our revenge either without the Major's help.
It's specifically because our aims coincide. that we are able to move so quickly.
I see. After all, when someone arranges a free set meal for lunch, they make everything in advance even though you don't order.
What the heck, Grand Boss? That sounds deadly cool.
To us, there was simply a decision to be made. However, to the Major, there's a carefully prepared revenge drama.
The Major wrote the script. Now all we need is the actors.
I don't like dancing to someone else's script.
Cyrus was about to say that, but stopped. Spending time preparing is not always the best option. A commander must also be quick to seize opportunities. If they wasted time preparing, the enemy would catch on to their plans. So a sneak attack that seems hasty even to them might be successful.
There's nothing so reassuring in this City 23 as having the Major back us. Yes. We might not get another chance with everything arranged so perfectly.
Cyrus, please handle security at the location of our talk tomorrow. I don't intend to create more victims than unnecessary. Fear not. To fool your enemy, you must first fool your friends. We are simply borrowing that same tactic. We'll erase Sun Shilong and Li Meiju, making it look like an attack by a third party that doesn't exist. In order to form a united front against that third party, we will prepare our relationship with the new GDS controlled by the Council of Elders. The entire plot has already been drawn up.
If we were using a plot you've drawn up entirely by yourself, I'd have no complaints.
Do you have an objection?
Of course not. Can't allow the GDS to continue to act so arrogantly. If only you had regained your composure, Richard, I'd be satisfied.
I am composed. That is why I won't let this once-in-a-lifetime chance slip by. The more time we waste, the more the GDS will be able to cover up that incident. And the surrounding family's motivation to assist us will decrease dramatically.
As they say, you guys strike while the iron is hot.
Exactly. If we let this chance slip by, we'll never get another opportunity to snipe the prudent Li Meiju and Sun Shilong at the same time.
The boy is completely blinded by just unabashed hatred. Understood.
I wonder if it'll really work.
It will. After all, they believe I will clean up after them.
Gabriel had explained to Richard that the former GDS elders would take action so this wouldn't result in a feud. However, that was just a promise of words and a lie. After all, those former elders had already been eliminated in the utmost secrecy. If the young Lord and Meiju were sniped, the GDS would be left in the absolute chaos. It'd be so easy to convince them that this crime was committed by Primavera, who mistakenly believed that GDS to be the culprits of the prior incident. All that remained was for the massive feud to come crashing down like a pack of snow. Revenge sparks revenge, and a rain of blood, no, a storm of blood would probably blow through. And that was the bloody revenge Gabriel desired.
Oh, Liz. Mother. The time is almost here. Very soon, the demons of the earth will receive their divine punishment.
Tomorrow at noon it is then. I will notify the young lord.
Please give Mr. Sun Shilong my regards, Meiju-san. Is something the matter?
I must apologize for misjudging you. The young lord has said the same. At tomorrow's meeting, he will probably apologize to you directly.
Apologize for what?
After killing Stella, after killing Yuji, just what are you trying to apologize for now?
We didn't think you were a man capable of making such composed and rational decisions.
And this, even though your heart must have been torn in two by the incidents with Stella-san and Yuji-kun.
Richard's boiling emotions caught in his throat. It was a good thing this was over the phone. Though it didn't show in his voice, the look of a demon was clearly visible in his face. He desperately swallowed it down and worked to make at least his voice sound composed.
At this time, with Madame Rose absent, it is only natural that I keep my composure.
You are a dragon. I have no choice but to respect you. Instead of being bewildered by false rumors, you have endured the misfortune brought upon those close to you and made a clear-headed decision. The GDS sincerely welcomes your wise decision and offers you unlimited respect.
I never thought I'd hear that coming from you. I'm so embarrassed I wish I had a hole to crawl in.
And separate from that, we owe Primavera with regards to one more matter.
Oh? And what could that be?
My little sister's life was saved by one of your men. Alan Aramaki-kun. He's a young man working for Primavera under Battalion. Perhaps you know him?
Ethan had told Richard that Alan had probably gotten involved in an incident and died, and now Alan's name had appeared at a strange time.
I'm glad you were able to protect Meishu-san.
Alan-kun is currently recuperating with us. His physical condition has almost completely recovered. I hope he'll be able to return home tomorrow at the earliest.
Oh? My. So even looked after his wounds.
Heath was waiting, prepared to take on a big job the following day. He had been burning with a quiet blue flame of anger precisely because he had lost Alan along with Stella. If Keith learned that Alan had been kept safe in Chinatown, it might easily shake him. No. But it was possible Alan was a traitor. No! Don't even think that Alan was a traitor! Or this could just be a show to make it look like the GDS wasn't the culprit. So, is this a cheap rendition of Romeo and Juliet? Richard responded non-committedly and set down the receiver. Pardon me. Oh, sorry. Did I interrupt you on the phone?
No. The call just ended. What is it?
Maurice-san said he wanted to meet regarding tomorrow's battle policies.
I see. Call Maurice in.
Richard didn't tell him. No, he didn't. He kept the information that Alan was alive locked in his chest. Because he wants Keith to go through with the job without anything on his mind.
Oliver! Yay! We get the boys back in town!
All of us wild dogs are investigating at once. Can't believe we still haven't turned up anything.
Damn it! It's unbelievable how little information there is out there.
The GDF must have called in killers from some far-off country.
But they didn't act as though they were unfamiliar with this location. Even if the attackers themselves were outsiders, the one pulling the strings must have been from somewhere near Say 23.
Yeah, probably.
There's no info from Chinatown either.
I can't believe we haven't found any clues despite all of us gathering together.
Damn it! Since Wayne-san's gone, I want to succeed in some big achievement and surprise him!
I want a big achievement.
I want to show Wayne-san that we aren't cowards even when he's not around. Right, Oliver?
Even with Wayne outside of City 23 acting as Madame Rose's guard, the young wild dogs were all in high spirits. These young people, who especially wanted to earn a name for themselves while Wayne was away, focused all their efforts on their current mission, information gathering.
Hey there, brats. You seem pretty charged up for this time of day.
Maurice-san, hey!
Good evening, Maurice-san. Battalion, Primavera's most powerful fighting force, was a crew much admired by young men who respected talent with guns and fist fighting. Its boss, Maurice, was the subject of a different sort of respect than the kind they felt for Wayne. Maurice clapped the young men on the shoulder, joining them at their table.
There's a lot of passion for this hour. You're just itching to pull off some achievements while Wayne is away, aren't ya?
We're always starving and hoping to become wolves.
We'll show Aniki Wayne that we can handle the big jobs. You wouldn't be a man any other way. Achievements make a man bigger. Just like Oliver there. Cheers to the achiever, responsible for the great victory in the soy sauce war.
Thank you very much.
Now, achievements make a man bigger. They'll change you as a person, change your life, and change your fortune. Anyone who isn't after respect isn't a man. That's why Oliver is a man.
No one would ever say it now, but they all knew that Oliver had once been an outsider. However, in the soy sauce war, he had taken on a huge role, impressing and earning the respect even of Wayne and the Consigliere. Ever since then, Oliver had been treated differently. And these days, he figured conspicuously as a man working at Wayne's side. That's a weird sentence. Achievements will change you as a person, change your life, and change your fortune. Those words of Maurice made the young men golden. Don't you dare.
What do you say? It's maybe a bit
No! Don't you fucking dare put them in danger! No! I know what you're doing, Maurice. Don't you fucking dare!
What do you say? It's maybe a bit sudden, but is anyone interested in taking on a huge job?
Oh, you're dead to me. I swear, if you get Oliver killed, I'm gonna hurt you. Saturday, October 29th, 1949. Weather overcast. 15.5 degrees Celsius. 15 degrees Celsius low. According to the record, the clear skies that had persisted until the previous day were gone, and the cool weather carried a faint, unpleasant chill. At noon, in a Chinese restaurant for the general public, Long Gao, Primavera and the GDS were to have a top-level discussion. Normally, it would be impossible for such a discussion to be arranged on such short notice. However, due to the tense circumstances surrounding each party, this meeting had been hastily arranged to demonstrate their friendly relations, both internally and externally, before tomorrow's funeral. Both parties were on guard against possible attacks by the mysterious force from the last incident. For that reason, a circle of approximately 200 meters was drawn around the restaurant and split into northern and southern halves, with each party providing thorough security to their half. Keith's sniping position was 300 meters back, outside that guarded area. Keith had been waiting on the roof of this building since the previous night. However, even for Keith, with all of his battlefield experience, lying in wait like this on his own was a first. You know, the weird thing is, it probably won't happen, but part of me is thinking that maybe Lee Meiju and Sun Shilong might bring Alan with them to kind of show that, hey, he's okay, he's recovered, you know? And that might snap Keith out or something. It's cold, Alan. Can't believe it's so incredibly cold this morning. Just because you aren't here. Please don't even use the word cold unless it's a sub-zero. It was a line Keith had said many times. But right now, as he warmed his frigid hands with his breath, he looked just like a kid crouching under the eaves of a house on a snowy day.
Do you really have to go back? I'm sure it's still dangerous out in the city. If you stay here, brother can keep protecting you. You'll be safe.
I'm glad you feel that way, but I want to take a trip back and visit my partner. After all, I haven't contacted him once since that day. He might think I've already kicked the bucket. And I've got that important mission your brother gave me. Since Meiju and Richard established contact, there was no longer any need for Alan to hand over a handwritten letter. However, as a person who had engaged with the enemy directly, he had to let Primavera know that he would have died if the GDS hadn't saved him. Apparently, the general public was whispering that the attack on Lee Meishu had been faked, so the GDS wouldn't be suspected. That was impossible. Alan could tell, as someone who had faced off against them and exchanged a fire with them. The enemy had been serious. Yuki-chan had only escaped harm by coincidence. If a single stray bullet or ricochet had gone in a slightly different direction, she would have been wounded fatally. No one would ever shoot like that in a fake attack. Of course, it wasn't inconceivable that Lee Meiju was a man cold enough to sacrifice his own sister. However, after watching the siblings talk to each other these few days, that thought had vanished from Alan's mind. Because he actually got the chance to spend time with them. Lee Meiju adored his sister, his only blood relative, beyond all reason. I had failed to protect Yuki-chan. He might have lost his mind to rage, starting a feud in Say 23, the likes of which has never been seen before.
In that sense, by protecting you, Meishu, Alan-kun has protected this city. Rather, Richard overcame the death of young Yuji, became a dragon, and returned. He is now a person I can fight alongside, and I am certain we will overcome this hardship. And this was all made possible thanks to Alan-kun. Meiju-san, at some other time, I would like to introduce you to Richard again. You and my sister may form the bridge that connects China and Japan.
Hey now, brother. Please don't start dragging us into politics. Nah, I don't mind. It just feels right, you know? Anyway, if we're forming a bridge, that sort of implies that you're accepting our relationship, doesn't it, brother?
I will murder you. Brother, is it?
He was apparently quite uncomfortable at being called brother by anyone but his little sister. But going by their relationships, that might be what it meant in the future. You're right. If you'll accept Alan, it should be alright to consider helping you.
I will accept him, but perhaps we should discuss his manner of addressing me.
Nothing to discuss. If we get married, you'll be his brother-in-law, so there's nothing wrong with that at all. Yuki-chan, aren't you getting a bit ahead of yourself? What? Are you saying you don't want to marry me? Dude, you literally called him brother to begin with. You kind of already jumped ahead for that. I can guarantee that as long as you live until they close the lid on your coffin, you'll never find a more attractive woman than me. God damn it.
Boss, the car is ready.
I see. I mustn't keep the young lord waiting. Time to go.
You're leaving for the meeting with Primavera?
That's right. Never before have I felt my heart race this much while preparing to meet Richard. If you leave a man be for 3 days, you shouldn't be surprised if he comes back transformed. That man has become a magnificent dragon. Alan-kun, when your strength is back, I'll introduce you to Richard. Of course, I also plan to tell him at length about your efforts at today's meeting.
Now I'm kind of embarrassed.
Boss, we had better.
I'll be off then.
Good luck. The war is over and done with. Go and end your war too as fast as you can.
Indeed. You are correct.
Please don't kill my boy Meiju.
Let's have Alan-kun join us for dinner. I'll serve some of my favorite drink.
He's gonna die. You're giving me all of the death flags. We're going to kill him. Thanks. Okay. Thank you very much. I look forward to it. See you later, brother.
Sure.
Meiju turned his back casually as though planning to see them again soon. Meishu sent him off without any special emotion or behavior. Most likely, neither of them could have predicted that this would be their final farewell. Meiju disappeared out that door, without looking back at his little sister's face even once.
Hey there, brawler. Glad to see you're doing well.
And I just lost Meiju. Oh, it's you! I just couldn't manage to die. Anyway, I've thought this before, but your Japanese really is good.
It's time you started to learn Chinese now. I look forward to the day when we can brawl together in Chinese.
Yeah, that doesn't sound that bad.
We should celebrate your recovery in Samba someday. Celebrate the way we know best.
Yeah, let's raise a glass and a fist. The two of them bumped fists and smiled daringly. This Chinese man also happened to be one of Meiju's guards. Amun was very familiar with his strength and resilience, and he knew this was a pleasant man who could enjoy drinking and brawling without any feelings of resentment. I'm surprised. You knew him? Well, we're basically I mean, drinking buddies.
I'm glad. Even though you said all those things, you still had a Chinese friend back then.
That was thoughtless of me. I'll never say it again.
I was thoughtless too. There's a lot of things we think about the Japanese, but there's nothing to be gained by saying them out loud. I won't say things that don't need to be said. I think that's necessary to being truly cosmopolitan.
Yeah, because you never know who might be listening. Okay then.
I'll take you home in my car.
Really? That's a big help. I'm getting kind of nervous going for a ride in your car.
Really? Well, I'm getting pretty nervous since I've never been to your house before.
Whoa! My room's filled with dirty laundry. Don't go in there. Oh God, why?
Oliver! I hear you got selected for a huge job today.
Wyatt, you fool! You're too loud! A line of cars was waiting in front of Club Primavera. There was a procession of Richard's guards about to head towards the meeting place. However, Richard himself had already arrived there. He'd completed his move early that morning in absolute secrecy. That was something Oliver and the others didn't... God damn it! The others didn't know.
Still, it's pretty rare. No, the wild dogs getting summoned to guard the Consigliere.
Well, there's going to be a vital meeting today. Those crews of veterans like Battalion are up to their eyeballs just strengthening the perimeter around the meeting place.
Oh, really? So you're just here because they couldn't find anyone better?
Don't be a fool. Marie-san recommended us himself.
Marie-san did? Holy crap, that's awesome!
I'm sure it's thanks to Zell. Our contributions during the soy sauce war must have brought us more fortune.
After all, we technically were Madame Rose's personal guard for a bit.
They probably took notice of our keen senses when we prevented that attack in Chiba. Hey, it's my favorite Psycho Boy and my favorite Caleb man. I miss them. And that's why I've been selected to be the Consigliere's guard.
Yeah, that incident.
Yes, it's true that it wasn't a real accomplishment of ours.
Yeah, that was, you know.
However, if the same thing happens again, this time we'll prevent it with our real strength. We'll prove to Zell that we can do it. Since the mastermind behind the recent incident was still unknown, it was very possible that they would try and attack today's meeting. He wanted to prove the Wandering Dog's true power to Zell by preventing such an attack before it happened. Back then, we got discouraged and lamented when we discovered our big achievement was all a setup. When Zell saw that, it must have wounded her deeply too. We were so shallow then, and the only way to make up for our sin is to prove our talents are real.
Oliver, the Consigliere is here. We're heading out.
With tense faces, the young wild dogs formed defensive lines around the Consigliere and headed for the cars. What is it?
No, it's nothing. Just my imagination.
It wasn't Richard. It was a body double. It was just a man of a very similar physical build wearing the same clothes as Richard. However, except for Oliver and Nina, none of the people here had seen the Consigliere's face up close, so none of them realized that this was a body double. For a moment, Nina felt as though something was off. But before that suspicion grew into certainty, the double disappeared into the car. Okay, see you later.
Yeah, take care. It isn't a guard's job to fight off enemy attacks. It's their job to make the enemy hesitate to attack in the first place.
That's what Zell said, isn't it? Though, unless they do attack, it won't be any fun.
Okay, the Consigliere's aboard. We're off. Don't let your guards down. Here's our chance to let everyone know the name of the wild dogs. Give it all you got.
This fucking music, I hate it!
Take care. I know you'll never lose to anyone, Oliver.
Oh god, how many of my friends am I going to lose? How many of my loved ones am I going to lose?
Young lord, I'm here to pick you up. Thank you. I'm sorry my final preparations ran long. By the way, our defenses are at full strength, correct? We thoroughly secured the area around the restaurant with the assistance of Primavera's elites. The car will stop in front of the restaurant, so you must enter the restaurant quickly. I understand. After all, I wouldn't want to stand around in an area with such good ventilation during a period like this. If the enemy is plotting to take both organizations out, they will certainly try to launch an attack today.
Okay, so they are on their guard.
If it were possible, I would have liked to delay this meeting to a safer time. But there's no helping it. However, I am certain that today's meeting is worth the risk. Until you enter the tiger's den, you cannot catch its cub, yes?
Young lord, sorry to keep you waiting. That man has arrived.
Pardon me, Major. I'm going to need a little more time.
The term Chinese restaurant has a refined ring to it, but the locals thought of this as merely a place to eat Chinese food. Longgao, the meeting place for the discussion between top members of both parties today, was such a small, mismatched establishment. All the neighboring stores on that street had been closed temporarily. Though the other streets were so bustling around noon, this one street was silent and filled with an intimidating atmosphere. The surrounding area was secured by GDS elites in the north and Primavera elites in the south. The entrance to the street had been barricaded by cars just in case, to prevent an enemy raid. You know, the worst thing that could possibly happen is that instead of, this may be a subversion of expectations. Either Lee Meiju is going to be murdered, or, I shudder to think of this, Meishu or Alan are murdered. That's something that I'm legitimately scared of. Anybody that I legitimately care about. Even if Richard is in the wrong right now, I don't want to see any of them being hurt.
Okay, we will protect this. We will protect the safety of this meeting no matter what. Please consider yourselves safe. The world at large may say that we are on bad terms, but we are friends. Friendship between China and Japan. That's comforting to hear you say that. I just received word that the car carrying the young lord is now on its way. Oh, that's so? Richard's car should depart soon, too. I truly look forward to seeing Consigliere Richard Maogi.
Normally, whenever men of the GDS saw members of Primavera, they threatened them. However, today's GDS seemed like entirely different people, well-disciplined and almost unpleasantly friendly. They'd probably received strict orders from Sun Shilong not to damage Primavera's mood.
Pardon me. The Consigliere's procession has left Primavera. I see.
Only Cyrus knew that it was a procession for the body double. No. A procession of human sacrifices. The real Richard was waiting in the basement of the building next to the restaurant.
Consigliere, the procession has left Primavera.
I see. Maurice's battalion ought to skillfully handle the rest. However, Maurice picked some pretty talented people to be human sacrifices. Who did he send to guard the body double?
The young man, the wild dogs.
They're bred to do anything to earn achievements in their names. Just the perfect soul for this job.
Yeah. You should know those people, you dumbass!
Sacrificing the young, is it? So, this is the pain of sacrificing the young to protect the future of our countrymen.
Congratulations. You just threw freaking Richard and everybody, you just threw Oliver and the rest under the bus. I wonder how they would react if they managed to survive out of this, to hear that Richard used you as sacrifices. God damn it, Richard. I know you're blinded by your grief and your hatred, but my God, man, you've fallen so badly.
Let us accept it. Rose, I won't run away. This is what it means to fight, what it means to be prepared to be hurt.
Oh my God.
Is this your apartment?
Thanks a ton, Yuki-chan, for driving me here. Could you wait here just a sec? I've got a whole bunch to clean up in my room.
No, no. I'm not bothered by that sort of thing at all. And after all, I'm so very interested in learning how hard-boiled, messy, and dirty a single man's life can be. Or else, is there anything you don't want me to see? Like stuff left behind by former girlfriends that you just couldn't bear to part with?
No. Nothing like that. But if you go in now, your dreams will definitely be shattered. Please, I'll never ask a favor like this again.
Weren't you the one who wanted us to have a relationship where we show each other everything? You're hiding something, right? Coward.
Whew! The coward line really hurts. There was a sudden sound of screeching brakes, and Alan immediately hid Meisha behind his back. But the stopped car wasn't an enemy.
Alan? Hey, it's Alan! So you're alive! I thought you were dead!
Hey there, boss. Sorry, I almost kicked the bucket back there. I've only just recovered.
He was asleep this whole time. Yesterday, he finally regained consciousness.
Oh, is this that rumored girlfriend of yours? Well, isn't she a looker? Still, I'm sure Keith will be overjoyed to hear about this. He thought you were dead, so he was totally depressed.
Ah, that's right. I've got to apologize to Keith. Boss, do you know where Keith is?
Oh, Keith? He's about to take on a big job today.
A big job?
It would have been great to have your help too, but I'm not such a demon that I'd make a sick man work.
Oh my god, are they gonna try to intervene?
Still, glad to see you're doing well. Drop by the usual restaurant when you get the chance. Looks like you're gonna have much more time to shine in the near future. Time to start raking it in!
Damn it. Your superior has quite a villainous face. Well, if he runs a bar, then I guess that face would come in handy when the going gets tough.
Please, Alan, you gotta...
What's wrong? You look troubled.
No, that's not... Could it be? Oh, Keith?
He's about to take on a big job today. It would have been great to have your help too. Looks like you're gonna have more time to shine in the near future.
Where are Major-san and the others having their meeting today?
He clued in. He knows what Keith is good at. He knows!
It's at a restaurant called Longao. I've been there several times. Their food's pretty good. I guess their only minus is how dark it is.
Major-san's in danger! Primavera's gonna kill him! Get us to the restaurant, now! They're gonna do something they'll never be able to take back! Oh my god, Alan. Oh boy! Woo! I'm gonna need an entire day just to record that next part. Oh my god. 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 Alan to the rescue. Come on, man. You gotta find some way to disrupt it. You gotta find some way. He's the key. Oh god. Okay. Okay. Oh. Okay. Ooh, I am stressed out. I am unbelievably stressed out right now, and I have to wait an entire week before I'm allowed to record this. Thank you all very much for watching. I'm sorry. There's way too much for me to just digest everything. Maurice is willing to sacrifice Oliver and the other wild dogs, and Richard's just he knows that they're the wild dogs. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. There's death flags out the wazoo. There's death flags out the wazoo. This is not good. This is bad. This is absolutely horrendous. This is terrible. This is awful. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Holy fuck. This is bad.